in the Rambam. Brias Olin Shalulav Kachi. Rambam begins to explain how the creation, or how it grows, the lulav, the palm tree. So, Kishem Gedelim, when they grow up, Gedelim Shnayim, they grow double, Dvukim Megabon, and they're doubled up, and they're together. The Gav calls Shnei Olin Advukin Hu Anikra Tiyomis. And every two that are together are called a tiyomis. That means it's made up of two parts. Nechlaka tiyomis posel. If it became the middle one became divided, it's posel. Olav achas betchilas b'yosef lo yoyaleim tiyomis posel. If it grew without this duplication of the leaves, right? It's possible. All of ze al gav ze kederach kol lulavim. Every lulav, the leaf goes out from the spine, and there's another one that covers that one. Elazet harazeh. They don't cover each other. If the one underneath it reaches at least to the bottom of the one above it, doesn't cover it completely, so that actually you can't get to the spine because it's covered by leaves. It's kosher because the spine is covered. However, if the lower one, the head of the lower one doesn't touch the upper leaf, it's possible because then the spine is not covered. The Magen Mishnah cites Sukkah 32, Amar Yeshua ben Levi. If the tiyomis, which is the leaf itself, has two parts to it, was separated, it's split, it becomes as if it was totally taken away, and it's possible. The Rebbe explains, like the Rambam, that when you have the leaf that's made up of two parts split, it's called netlogorat tiyomis. Certainly, if it wasn't at the top, it was in the middle, it's possible. Like the Rae Gann Family is possible only if the majority of the leaves are that way. There were those who explain that the tiyomis is referring not to any leaf on the lulav, but rather the central leaf, the central one that's at the head of every one of them. And according to him, it would only be if the majority of that central leaf is possible. A split would it be possible. The Rambam brings on the Yerushalmi, like the Rif and the Rambam, only if the majority are split. Now, if the leaves were from to begin with were only made up of one piece and not two, then it's possible because it's lacking. Ravid adds, that if they originally were created one, and they have it, the Gemara says it's possible. This is what it's referring to when it says the solik bechad hutzo. It only had one part. The leaf was made up of only one piece. Maimonides on the Ravid says that that's the way the Rambam also explains it. Rashi explains that differently, that only one side of the spine has leaves. Maimonides argues that according to Rashi, the Gemara should have said it's on one side. But in any case, it's possible because you don't have the middle one. And he concludes there's no difference if it was taken off by man or b'dei shemayim, that's the way it grew. From one side is lacking, it's possible. Maimonides cites that according to Rashi in number 32a, lulav is possible only when the upper leaf is split and until the spine. That's called when it's possible and the middle one is broken. If it's split, it's kosher is when then the spine is not split. And maybe we can make a differentiation between nizdak, which means literally split, or nechlikot is separated. And certainly, if it is separated, it's possible. For sure, if it's not there, it's possible. Maimonides cites the Rae Gann and the Rif and the Hilchos Gedolos, and the Orach explained like the Rambam. According to Rashi, the Shiurim is the two middle leaves where the shedra ends, and when they are split until the point of the next row of leaves which are below them, that's called where the midpoint is split. Judaism and the Rambam say so in the name of their teachers, but the Rambam himself says that would seem like the Kohen and the Rambam, that means the upper one that's split. The Shulchan Aruch cites the language of the Rambam that the creation of the leaves or lulav, this is the way it is. When they grow two together, the leaves, and they are attached. And the back of each one is called a tiemus, where they're connected. If that's split, that's called splitting of the leaf. Rambam adds only the majority of the leaves is possible, but if one of them, if the leaves were created without the double, or one side didn't have leaves, one side did, it's possible. Rambam says that if the upper one was split, it means till the spine. It's called Nechlik Apostle. That's how we're noyik. The Mishnah Berurah cites in the Gra that Yemachmer by Ruba. He doesn't have to go till the spine because Ruba Kikuloi. And a little bit, he shouldn't be Machmer. The Rambam writes, it should be, you should take a lulav that isn't split at all. Because there are those who say even if it's split a bit, it's called Nechlik Atioimus. But if that olah is not doubled up, it's posel even if it can't split. The Mishnah Berurah explains the reasoning of those who are stringent, because when you do the nanuim, usually it starts to split. The leaves begin to split from the shaking, and the Taz is machmer only if it goes to latevach. The Chai Odom says that you should be machmer even for a little bit. The Mishnah Berurah concludes that it shouldn't be that they're separated. The leaf, which was once connected, are separated so that they look like two when they were actually, to begin with, they were one. Shulchan Aruch continues, if they didn't cover each other, like all the Lulavim, but one under the other, if the head of the lower one reaches the base of the upper one, and thus the spine is totally covered with leaves, it's kosher. But if it's not, doesn't touch the head of one to the bottom of the other one, or it doesn't have enough leaves one on top of the other near the base, and it goes up to the top, it's possible because the spine is visible and it's not kosher lulav.